testosterone optimization is the only tried and true way to get a person's testosterone optimized and maintainable.
I believe testosterone is a man's most powerful weapon.
They feel like shit. They're not fucking their wife because they can't get an erection.
What are your thoughts on TRT and what is TRT?
Yeah, so obviously TRT is Testosterone Replacement Therapy, which I like to think I coined the name change to Testosterone Optimization Therapy, which is TOT, back in 2017 and 2018. And the reason I did that was testosterone replacement therapy is a really poor terminology to use because let's think of it like this. As we get older, knowing what we've been talking about on the show, that our hormones cessate and that obviously we're under a contaminated environment, we can't replace something that we don't have, right? So we want to optimize the levels that we might not have naturally. And so optimization is a lot better than replacement. But they're essentially the same thing. But again, if you think about as you get older, how can you replace something that you don't have? You can't. You can only optimize it. So that's why we use therapeutic testosterone. But obviously, I'm a huge proponent of it. Maybe one of the world's biggest. Obviously, I've been on therapeutic testosterone for this is going into my 24th year. I've used every form of delivery system. I've worked with numerous doctors. Obviously, I've written numerous books, papers. I haven't done any PubMed studies. I've actually been involved in some, but I haven't published any. But I'm just very, very obviously fluent and conversant in therapeutic testosterone and why I believe in it. And again, looking at the environment, looking at the world, looking at how many people today globally are dealing with a hormonal deficiency, testosterone optimization is the only tried and true way to get a person's testosterone optimized and maintainable for as long as they're on therapy.
What can you give the audience an understanding of what testosterone actually is, and especially as it relates to men, how it impacts the male mechanism? I mean, I believe, and I say often that I believe testosterone is a man's most powerful weapon.
It is. Well, I mean, how deep do you want to go? Do you want me to go like tinfoil and talk about?
No, let's go a little surface level.
Okay, because we can go into the trans stuff if you want to talk about like that, because that's really what's actually happening. So testosterone is the primary sexual differentiating hormone, right? Like the amount of testosterone in utero is what separates a man from a woman. Yeah. Okay, so it's the most profound hormone, obviously, in existence for both men and women. And when we don't have enough, all of our biological system functioning slows down or really shuts down. And then when you combine it with the toxin load from the environment, you're looking at people who are feeling like death. I mean, a man walking around, I literally just talked to a guy who's a famous motocross, ex-motocross guy. He's a little bit older than me. He's 56, but he was like an Evel Knievel dude. He's very, very famous. Somehow he got my phone number and he called me last weekend from another friend and said, look, dude, I will pay you anything. My free testosterone is 1.
Wow.
He feels like death. He's lost 3 inches in height in the last 2 years, and he's only 60 or 59 or 60. And so again, this is what happens when you don't have testosterone. And again, this isn't just for men, this is for women too. Everything shuts down and everything becomes dysfunctional.
What are some symptoms of low testosterone for, again, somebody obviously who has low T in their 60s are going to experience vastly different symptoms than somebody in their 30s. So
the average symptom of a low testosterone is what nobody understands it to be, and it's brain fog. Okay, so mid-afternoon, they want to go home and take a nap. They have no energy. They can't think. They have like a lethargy or a malaise. They're just like in a funk, right? The other symptoms are obviously lower energy. A lack of testosterone
affects everything.
Everything. The brain, the liver, the heart, the vascular system, the skin,
I was thinking like
bone mineral
mitochondrial,
density. It turns off everything. I mean, again, it's like the light. When you don't have optimal testosterone levels, it's like the light bulbs are not firing in your body. Okay, so of course mitochondrial optimization is affected, but everything is turned down. Other symptoms again are
depression,
total depression. I mean, and again, if we go down the allopathic route right now, which a lot of the people that listen to this understand this and probably have experienced this. Sadly, they feel like shit. They're not fucking their wife because they can't get an erection. Yeah. Okay, so the wife usually suspects they're cheating on them or something. So they're like, "You're going to the doctor and you're going to get your testosterone measured." And they go to the doctor, and again, it's usually a PPO or HMO doctor or some sort of family doctor, and they don't know anything about testosterone. They don't even know how to measure labs. They'll tell them, "Oh, you don't need that. You're 35, you're 40, you're 45. You don't need that. You're fine." Instead, they write them a script for an SSRI. or they write them a script for an erectile dysfunction drug like Levitra, Viagra, or Cialis, right? So then they never ever seek or get the treatment for the root cause, which is a testosterone deficiency. So you have this horrific condition, society-wide, globally society-wide, where men have testosterone deficiency. They're not being diagnosed correctly because the average doctor doesn't know how to do it, clueless. Yeah. And then they're given these drugs, which, by the way, SSRIs make a testosterone deficiency worse because of what it does to the brain. Yeah. So you're in this vicious cycle of all these men who have no hope. They have no hope.
So they're basically not men because they've been emasculated.
Completely emasculated, not only by society, but by the system and, of course, by their hormonal dysfunction.
So then the next logical step would be what we're not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about trans. We're not going to talk about trans, which, by the way, is a mental illness, not a gender. Well, but when you're transitioning genders,
It is, by the way.
What is what?
What you just said is true. And let me tell you why you just said what is true. It's a mental illness. People that are trans, and this is not against people that are trans. I don't care,
These are facts.
Yeah. And I've been saying this literally for 8 years, and it'll never be admitted by science, but it's the truth. The reason that they are trans is because of a lack of testosterone in utero. Mm-hmm. So when they come out, they don't have sexual definition. That's how bad it is. Their environment in utero, right, in the womb, is so low in testosterone that they don't come out thinking they're a man or a woman. Mm-hmm. Then obviously, it's environment, right? You've got all these crazy people on the left that are pushing it like, oh, you can transition or, oh, you can do this. I mean, Rick Collins told me this 2 weeks ago. I know you guys know Rick. He literally told me that the only reason right now that we still, all of us, have the ability to get a therapeutic testosterone prescription from a doctor via telemedicine is because of that. Because they're allowing people to transition. They give it away for free to girls and boys who want to go the other way in their teenage years. And and I know how hard it is for most men just to even get a script for testosterone. That's how insane everything is, bro.
So if you wanted to get some free test, you'd have your girlfriend.
You get your transitioning friend to get it for you.
There you go.
It's just like back in the 90s when HIV was going around and people got growth hormone for people that were on AIDS. It's insane, dude.
That's wild.
That's how whacked our society is.
Yeah. Well, the reason I define it as a mental illness is because statistically speaking, 67% of the trans population has attempted suicide.
That's exactly.
So we could talk about like if of gardeners, if 67% of gardeners around the world all of a sudden started attempting suicide, we would start to look at that and we'd be like, hey, I think there might be something going on there.
But bro, you're
mentally.
A genius in what you said because nobody is saying it's a mental illness. But again, if you think of it biologically, if you have no testosterone, what does it cause? Depression.
Yeah, sure. Depression.
It makes you weak. It makes you
depressed.
Easy to control. And I think that's really what it's all about. I don't want to get into it because it's so much else to talk about. But we'll just end this portion of the discussion with this. When you're transitioning genders, you are in fact questioning the decisions of God.
Exactly.
And there's precisely zero scenarios where that is going to fucking end well.
I love you, bro.
That's true.
Awesome.
All right, so steroids. Let's transition into steroids, and let's first, like as part of that transition, part of that segue, if you will, Jade, what is the difference between testosterone replacement therapy and basically cycling multiple compounds, full blast? Because I get a lot of steroid comments online, and it's interesting because the way that I receive some of them is if these people think that at all times, 365 days a year for the last however many fucking years, because I'm always lean, I never get out of shape. Yeah. But my perception and what I believe they're thinking is that people who are in really good shape are on multiple compounds at high doses all of the fucking time. So please clarify what the difference is between TRT and cycling multiple compounds.
Well, to that point, first off, because I've been on publicly now acknowledged therapeutic testosterone for 23 years, and obviously becoming an internet person for 10 years now, everybody thinks that I look the way that I do because I use steroids. Right. So I know full well, right? Oh, he's a cheater. He uses testosterone.
Well, what do you say to people that hear that now and like, well, this guy's on here talking about the fact that he uses testosterone. Yeah. What do you say to those people who, again, to your point, because you're taking that, they immediately link all of like
all
your
progress,
physique,
yeah.
your progress, your performance, your accomplishments, everything to this needle that you're evidently sticking in your ass a few days a week.
Right. Mostly arms.
Nice.
But the truth is like, first off, I usually don't respond to them because they're not intelligent enough to actually understand. I mean, but if I do get somebody who is intelligent enough, I always say it's no different than having LASIK surgery.
Yeah.
It's no difference than getting a boob job. It's no difference in having any other kind of cosmetic procedure or surgery that you have. I am literally using a hormone that is God created, as you already said, naturally derived and naturally produced in my body that I am now lacking because of the environmental desecration that I exist in.